Welcome back to the Worch Show. This is episode -15. Shooting in the studio. What do you guys think? We got the nice bookshelf lit up. We got a nice yellow light here. We got some lights on the bookshelf back there. We got the Leonardo DiCaprio in the background. Wolf of Wall Street. Love it. So we got our key light right here. And then we have the ever important B-roll cam, which is shooting at a very, very low f-stop, giving that nice cinematic feel with the bookshelf in the background. I haven't filmed for about 3 weeks. Been on a little bit of a filming hiatus. The same issue that I ran into in 2017, as well as the beginning of 2023, both times when I launched a YouTube channel. My biggest stumbling block, my biggest challenge has been consistency. I can film for a few months and then I miss one episode or I miss one video and that's it. Then I just stop filming. So the consistency is definitely huge. It's difficult. Now I see, you see people in a year film 50 videos, 100 videos. And now I'm really giving kudos because it's not easy. It's not easy to set this fucking equipment up every single time you get a film. It's just a layer of friction. You're lazy. I didn't want to go down to my clubhouse where I typically film because I didn't want to tote all my shit all the way down there. So, but I talked myself into filming here because I realized if I don't do it now, what am I going to do? I don't like what my shirt is to, for a little more style on there. Okay. Actually just found the shirt in my closet. My wife was asking about it. She says it looks really good on me. I agree. So it looks super skinny in this wide angle camera. But anyways, I digress. So yeah, consistency. I think it's super important to stay consistent. That's been one of the hardest things for me to do. But definitely staying busy though. I've been going down an absolute rabbit hole of studying Christianity and studying historical Jesus, studying the Bible. I've been a Christian my whole life, or I've identified as a Christian my whole life. I certainly haven't acted as though that I've been a Christian my whole life. I've been very hypocritical, as we all have. However, I think it's important, there's a lot of questions that I was asking. I was questioning my faith a lot. What do I believe in? Why do I believe in it? I've been questioning that a lot lately, and getting answers. Doing research, reading the Bible is super helpful because I realized how little that I actually know the Bible. I know stories in the Bible, but I'm talking like a deep, intimate relationship with Christ. I didn't really have that in terms of it was more of a faith-based, but it wasn't biblical-based. So now that I'm learning the importance of actually reading the Bible, because that's where you learn about who Christ is, it's awesome because it raises more questions and I want to do more research. I want to look for evidence and logic and science that points to a creator, that points to Jesus Christ's reliability, his authenticity. And I was shocked because I didn't realize, perhaps I always thought that I just had blind faith. This is what I believe. It makes the most sense. There's no way that there's not a God. There's no way that there's not a creator. That's kind of like an anthropological argument. But I never really kind of dove in and looked for any evidence, look for logical conclusions that lead to Christ, even look at science to kind of come up with logical conclusions that lead to an intelligent creator and Jesus Christ being reliable. So that's been super helpful because it just, whatever you decide to believe in, whatever your faith and trust in, I think it's really good to really contemplate on why you're doing that, why you're putting your faith and trust in this as opposed to this. But the only way to do that is to actually be open-minded and to read things and learn things, learn the opposing views. And, perhaps you were wrong about something, or perhaps you were right and it just reinforces what you believe in the first place, or what you put your faith and your trust in. So anyways, I've just been going down that rabbit hole and it's been really cool because there's a lot of stories in the Bible that I've been reading about that it just shocks me how much knowledge and wisdom is in the Bible. And, whether you believe in the Bible or not, there's a lot of great information in there. And it's just so applicable for today. The Bible's several thousand years old. It's just phenomenal. I was reading through Matthew 19 because I always thought there's a verse in Matthew 19, right? Talks about um, Christ says something along the lines of, sell all your possessions, sell all your shit, stop what you're doing, and follow me. And myself, as well as anyone I ever heard talk about that, they always basically ripped it out of context and said, see, Christians, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to sell all your stuff, have no possessions, have no materials, and just follow Christ. So it turns out if you actually just read the Bible and read the context, like don't pick a sentence out in the middle of a story, read the whole story. You read that chapter. Christ is Christ or it's Matthew. So Jesus Christ is talking to a person. So this is a historical description of a story that happened, and Christ is talking to a man. So right off the bat, Christ is not talking to the reader, to you and I. He's talking to a person. There's this Jesus just left Judea. He was going into Galilee. He's doing all these miracles, and this dude comes up and he's like, "Yo, Jesus, what do I got to do to get into heaven?" And Christ lists off, have you followed this? Have you honored your mother and father? Have you not committed murder? He lists all 6 of the 10 commandments. And the guy's like, yeah, I've never done any of that. I'm good. I mean, what else do I have to do to enter the kingdom of heaven? And that's when Christ tells the guy, well, if you want to be perfect, sell all your shit and then come follow me. So basically, though, the context of this whole story. So what happens was the guy basically finishes all his, Christ says that, and the guy gets really sad and he walks away because he was a wealthy man. That's the end of the verse. And then it goes on to say, it's really hard for someone rich to get into heaven. It's easier for a camel to go through the head of a needle than a rich man going to heaven. We've all heard of that one. But that was crazy. So what this is saying is God wasn't telling you and I to drop our stuff and then follow him. He was talking to this guy because this guy was basically saying, yo, I'm perfect. I've done everything. And then Christ challenged the guy because he knew the guy was wealthy. He said, okay, you've done all that stuff, which is easy for you to do, but you're wealthy. How easy is it going to be for you to sell all your wealth, which you're truly, that's what that guy was worshiping, his wealth. So basically that's important to you. So get rid of that and follow me. So I thought about that for myself. What's important to me that I'm making my Lord, or that I'm worshiping, I'm putting too much emphasis on. And that's basically what Christ did. My interpretation as Christ is saying, drop that and follow me. For that particular person, it was wealth. It was money. And the story also highlights the fact that this guy he was more focused on, instead of following Christ, he was more focused on following the laws of the Old Testament, which by nature, you can't follow them perfectly because we're not perfect. So just inherently, you cannot follow all the laws of the Old Testament. Christ was the only person that was able to do that according to the Bible. So anyways, that's just one story, one example that I read recently. I was like, holy cow, that's really applicable today. And there's a ton of those stories. Some are parables, some are historical events that happened. But nonetheless, it's cool to be able to take that out and apply that into my life. What's been really neat for me is, so that I've been reading the Bible, but then referencing with other books that I've been reading, the theological books, Christian apologetic books, science books, atheist books. Stephen Myers writes a book. He's really big on talking about DNA and how mathematically, I got to learn how to articulate this, explain it to someone, because I don't even really understand it myself. But this guy takes DNA and he mathematically proves that this, how do I put this? I can't even explain it properly. basically he mathematically proves that life started from an intelligent mind. It didn't happen by accident. And he uses DNA and statistics, which is crazy. I just never thought something like that was possible. Look him up, Stephen Myers. He has a book of DNA something. It's got the helix, double helix on the front cover. But that guy's wild. Some of the stuff that he talks about, he's a scientist, but he's Christian. So that's pretty interesting to be able to see how much like science and Christ complement one another. They're not really going against each other. So I thought that was pretty neat to see that and learn that. You have all these scientists who were previously non-believers. They were atheists or agnostic, and now they're Christians. So I couldn't help but be like, okay, these are some of the most intelligent guys in the entire world. If it's something that they can believe in, using facts and science and logic and evidence, then there's got to be something to it. These guys aren't fucking nuts. There's some of them there. They're scientists, which is cool. But it's been really neat to be able to go down down this rabbit hole, and it's just really something that's piqued my interest more so than anything recently. I mean, I've been talking a lot about finance on this podcast, and prior to this, I was reading a ton of finance books. Morgan Housel, The Psychology of Money was fantastic. Patrick Bet-David's 5 Next Moves. I've probably read 15 books this year, and they were all business type mindset books. But now I've just bought so many Christian apologetic books. I've got like 10, here's a bunch of them right here. Fucking Can We Trust the Gospel? Peter Williams. Just gonna run through them. Like Mere Christianity, C.S. Lewis. Who Moved the Stone? Frank Morrison. The God Delusion, Richard Dawkins. I actually bought this years ago, never read it, but I'm really interested in reading through this now. Sing the Chernobyl. That's Stephen Myers. And then I had something else about is the New Testament really reliable, historically reliable. But anyways, I think it's important, kind of call myself a Christian. This is where I put my faith and my trust in. I need to learn more about it and see, okay, so let's give this a fair shot. Let's be open-minded. Is there evidence, logic, and science leading towards this? Or does the evidence, logic, and science lead to there not being a God? So far, for me, it's leading to there being a God. It's leading to there being an omnipotence. Let's see, what is it? I was trying to express all this stuff. There's an intelligent, omnipotent, eternal, immaterial entity that resides outside of the dimension of time, space, and matter. That's where the science and the evidence and logic are pointing to. I'm going to keep diving in, though, because I love hearing all of the opposing views and why people believe what they believe. Most people, I mean, these are people I don't listen to. Most people that I met in my life, Christians and non-Christians, they're not really convicted in their beliefs. They're not really convicted in where they put their trust and their faith in, myself included. You couldn't really have like an intellectual conversation with them about like what it is that they actually believe in. It's just it's really shallow. And I think life is too short. There's so much information available, and it's cool to learn. So I think we owe it to ourselves. And then when people ask us, I don't think it's right to just go around and like, it's fine to tell people what you believe in. Like the whole cramming shit down people's throat is just disgusting to me. But I think it's fair if someone asks you what you believe in and you ask, them what they believe in, that you can actually talk about it. And people change their mind. Some people haven't thought about things a lot. And they're like, wow, I never even considered that. And you see like have an aha moment. And they can tell you something, and I'm looking forward to having conversations. People tell me things like, shit, I never thought of that. And just go back and forth and just get more information and learn more. And it's really fun, really enjoying it. So that's what I've been reading a lot lately. And I'm just between that and then watching sermons, videos, reading the Bible, reading textbooks, and then having conversations with my wife and my sister. It's cool. I'm 38 years old. I should have done this when I was 20 years old. Would have been more helpful to be able to express and articulate what it is that I believe in, first for myself, and then when others ask, yeah, just talk to them about it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's what I've been up to. Been doing that. Um, no business stuff. I don't know what else to talk about. Obviously this is a business podcast. I don't even know. People ask me, what do you talk about on your podcast? It's kind of like, what does anyone talk about on their podcast? Everybody talks about everything on their podcast. I mean, there's usually a general theme, but everyone just ends up talking about relationships or God or money and finances or science. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Right? Podcasts, we're just hanging out, shooting the shit, talking. This is episode -15 again, episode 21. I want to interview somebody. The plan is to do business owners, but quite frankly, I can just interview whoever. I mean, if I interview a pastor, we don't have to talk about business. We could talk about religion. If I'm a business owner, talk about business. Again, like I said in episode 1, this is something that I just enjoy doing. Get to talk to a lot of cool people, have a lot of cool interviews, a lot of good discussions. So I'm looking forward to it. And I hope that you guys watching this, that it helps you think. And I think it's the main thing. I hope that we all can leave this and we're learning how to think through things. That's huge. I didn't do that when I was younger. Didn't actually like stop and process through things and think about option 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and what makes the most sense. So if we're thinking, we're asking questions together, we're moving forward together, we're having fun, we're learning, and ultimately we're going to make more money. We're going to have better relationships. We're going to stay healthier because I think all those things complement each other. Thanks for watching. My name is Mark Worch. This is the Mark Worch Show, episode -15, and I will see you next time. Thanks.